time for the feedback and questions. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for sending in your questions as well. For the podcast, 433 Podcast Football on Instagram. I'm gonna go for first question here. Where does European football goes from here? To me, I think like I mentioned before, there's gonna be a lot of trust that needs to to be issued here from a UEFA and FIFA organizations point of view. I think that Florentino Perez is being labeled as the devil here, because I think he's the one that is speaking up for all these American owners as well. And there's gonna be, to me, it's like there's gonna be a lot of contracts that's gonna be signed in the future that says that you can't do this and do that. Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm against for all this, but I think it's if it's just about money now. I think it's business from here, and the one that came out looking good from all this is the Bayern Munich's, the Borussia Dortmund's, the PSG's, the clubs that's not involved in all this. And I think that there's gonna be a lot of things that everything that the ref, it's gonna be like stupid mistakes by the ref. He's gonna be going back to this. They're gonna count as this as well. So it's gonna be a lot of trust. European football will still be here, but there's gonna be a lot of trust needs to be gained. And that's all I gotta say about that. The next question is, American owners should get out of the game. Yeah. I'm not too sure about that, because I think that's where the appeal they see in football. American owners. We got a lot of American owners now in charge. The Fulham has an American owners as well, who is running a wrestling organization as well. I think the thing is like what they say when they release FSG about making a mistake and all that. I think they are right. They should go through this left, right, and center first before agreeing to all this. But I think I think American business owners should get out of the game for a while. But the thing is, these have left a really big stain on football. How are you gonna come in again? You know what I mean? And if American owners sees this as a blip that they shouldn't be investing on, then I think clubs shouldn't complain about buying players and paying high salaries for players as well. I think it's a little bit foregone conclusion. It's easier to say now, but in the end, I still think that with all these American owners, when they buy players or when they don't buy players, are these gonna be the same set of fans who protest are gonna complain? You know what I mean? So no, I don't think they should be get rid of. There are some who really loves the sport. There are some who really want to invest their business. They see it as a business. But be that as it may, they love football or not, they see it as a business. So yeah. Number 3, why are you silent about this issue? Which side are you on? I'm sorry, man, to keep on silence, because I just want to see, when midnight strikes last Sunday night, I just want to see like what's going on, who's gonna say what, is this really true, is gonna happen. I don't want to be releasing an episode and then the next, like, can you imagine if I were to release this episode on Monday and then end up it didn't happen? You know what I mean? So I just want to see what's being laid out for us over there, and at the same time I'm doing my research on who's behind the idea, how much is the money at stake, how is the system gonna work. And then in came UEFA, in came the Jordan Henderson calling all captains as well. I just want to do a lot of those research from then, and then release it. And in terms of which side am I on, definitely with the fans though. But at the same time, you can tell from my episode today that I really really despise the UEFA and FIFA officials on how corrupted they are. But at the same time, I'm with the fans. I'm still a fan, and I will be for the rest of my life, because this is what I grew up football. I grew up playing with my friends. I grew up building relationships with friends based on this sport. I grew up in void decks, running away from authorities telling us to stop playing this sport because it's causing noise, but we don't really care because we love it. And that's what every Asian kids or every European kids, every kid in the world loves. You know what I mean? So this is what we grew up for, and of course we are always gonna be fans. But when you put it in a context of business, American owners coming in, is it really that fun? You know what I mean? So, yeah, of course, I'm on the side of against the European Super Cup. But at the same time, I have my own agendas as well when it comes to saying all this. I wish that there's gonna be a salary cap for all players. I wish there was, so that these things won't happen. But that's how the world rolls sometimes. I always said this: when culture of the world changes, people change, mentality changes, a point of view changes, business changes, money changes, and that changes people. And that's it's all boils down to, and I know we are going off tracks here, but it all boils down to how business philosophy works and stuff like that. So it's the world we live in, and we can't do anything about it. But after all this, right, the thing that is maintained is the sport that we love, and that is football. So yeah. Next question. If Liverpool buy Mbappe and Man City buy Messi, Man United buy Ronaldo, will all this be forgiven? If you were to ask me before the European Super League, I think all will be forgiven. But the fact of the matter is that the players that you mentioned is going to cost them a lot more money. And I think that Mino Raiola and Erling Haaland, I know Haaland wasn't the names that you have requested, you have forward your questions with, was trying to make Haaland the first ever player a 1 million per week wages. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. If that were to happen, I think it's going to be the same treatment from the European Super Cup. Fans are going to intervene. But as the moment Erling Haaland, let's say he plays for Barcelona, the moment Erling Haaland stops scoring for 2 games, that's it. There's going to be a lot of protests. And I think right now, going forward, I don't think any player would have to achieve that. I think Mino Raiola right now will be like damning with his fist right now. It's like, damn it. I think he knows that it's not gonna happen. And as far as your questions is concerned, no, I don't think all will be forgiven. There's a lot of clubs here with a lot of histories: Man United, Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal. There's a lot of clubs with very rich heritage in this. And these clubs are based on middle earners, they call it, right, to build this club over 100 years. That's the difference right there. It's not a franchise. You can't take over an organization, a club, a team, and build it into a franchise with money, while the rest of us sits at the side and just look. Because that being said, whatever you invest in, it's not a guaranteed success, which is football. To the fans, it's not those of who get the most money. To the fans, is the success. And I think that, no, all will not be forgiven unless you're telling me Mbappe, Messi, and Ronaldo score 40, 50 goals for them. I think maybe they will be forgiven. Which club suffered the most in this whole problem? And I assume the problem you're referring to is the European Super Cup proposal, right? Looking back at it now, the Premier League being made like a fool, like a clown. Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid is being made like a skank, really. They are the ones with the club debt the most, especially Barcelona, 1 billion club debt. and I think Italian club Juventus as well. Well, no, not many people know about this, but Andrea Agnelli is the driving force behind this, alongside Florentino Perez, and the American owners, Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal, join in because of fear of missing out. FOMO they call it, right? So they don't want to let that train, because I know it's temptation. The money is ridiculous. Like, if you I think haven't disclosed this. There's 526 million guaranteed money to each club, which is like ridiculous, right? So it's like, I'm not too sure whether the numbers is right. If I'm not mistaken, that is the number which I read somewhere during my research. So yeah, it's but in terms of which club will suffer the most, I think it's gotta be the Spanish clubs, because they are the ones in debt, and now they need to find ideas on how to decrease their debt, cut costs, maybe sell some of the players with higher wages. So I think that is the whole problem relies on Real Madrid, the Barcelona, the Atletico Madrids. Yeah. So if you were to ask me, the English clubs, I think, in terms of popularity, they are the ones who they can earn more within the next 4 to 5 years, and with the television rights and whatnot. So as Real Madrid and Barcelona, but I think the edge has got to be Real Madrid and Barcelona, because their debt is much more than these English clubs.